Enough with embrace debate. Pointless yelling at each other on ESPN and Fox, yet very little actual content. It's time for a change. A voice from the fan, for the fan. The most compelling topics in sports, all covered here. This is Corbet's Corner.
Okay, welcome in. Special episode here as we've got March Madness, some of the favorite times of most people's years, especially us fellas. We've got a special edition here, the Dalsin brothers, twins, I should say, in the same Zoom box. Matthew Crusen, I'm Dylan Corbet. So we're huge college basketball fans. We're obviously keeping an eye on, we have been all season, on Matt Crusen's Illini, which have the 1 seed. And instead of kind of us just talking about random storylines and us like giving our own Final Fours, get a load of this. We are going to make a consensus bracket. So here we go. Can you guys see this? We are going to share my screen and we are going to kind of walk through the bracket ourselves. We'll start with, first round, very easy. We're all going to expect the 1 seed to advance, right? Al, maybe you've got an upset here for Norfolk State. But what do you guys think of this? We'll kind of go through the bracket with the people, as you could see here, and we'll do a little Corbett's Corner consensus bracket between the 4 of us.
I like that. No 16 seeds for me, though. I think it's a radical idea.
Radical. Okay, sounds good. So we'll start there. We've got all 16 seeds moving on. Of course, Gonzaga, Baylor, Matthew Crusen's truly Illini. First off there, what do you think of Drexel? Do you think they cover? What is that, 22.5, 26.5, something in that number?
Up to 24.5 last I saw, but Matt, please correct me.
No, I was telling someone I haven't looked at like any of these lines. I've just been looking at the bracket a little bit so far. It opened at 22 though, so
yeah,
that just means it's climbing. No, I mean they should be fine. They should cover, but never know.
The Drexel Dragons, right?
Yeah,
okay, let's get to 2 seeds versus 15 seeds. There's been a few of these. Norfolk State upset Missouri a couple of years back. Remember Florida Gulf Coast, Georgetown, etc. We've got Ohio State, Iowa, Alabama, and Houston. Their opponents not necessarily in any order. Cleveland State, Oral Roberts out of the Summit League, and Grand Canyon, the Antelopes. How about that? And notably, Rick Pitino's Iona. A little bit more interesting. How do you guys see the 2-15 matchups?
I like all the 2 seeds to advance, but I think Oral Roberts, they'll give Ohio State, keep it close, but Ohio State's going to pull away at the end. Oral Roberts is pretty lethal for me on the 3. Actually, I did a little bit of research. And in the entire field, they're the tied for 3rd best team from beyond the arc. So, I mean, if Oral Roberts is hitting shots, they can keep it close, but I don't think they'll have enough fuel in the tank to beat the Buckeyes.
Anything else from you guys, Ty?
Well, going off of Oral Roberts, Max Abmas, correct me if I'm wrong, if I mispronounce that. I know he's in the top 5. If not, I think he is number 1, the leading scorer for the entire NCAA. I watched a decent amount of the Summit League tournament games, and I mean, Abmas can fill it up. And there's a couple guys behind him as well. Kevin O'Banner, he's their big guy. He can also play a little bit. He can shoot. He's their big defensive guy, though. He's averaging just under 10 boards. I was pretty impressed with him. They were playing Al's Bison, and I mean, they absolutely embarrassed the Bison in the first half. Like, it was laughable. And then the Bison came back, made it close. But I personally thought this Oral Roberts team looked dangerous. I think the Ohio State draw, though, does not do them much justice because Ohio State likes to run and play with pace, and that's exactly what Oral Roberts likes to do. I think they would have – if they drew Houston, I think they could have caused some havoc for Houston just because Houston doesn't like to play with pace. But I see Ohio State winning that one as well as I see all the 2 seeds winning.
There's some interesting 15 seeds. Grand Canyon's been solid. You said it. Oral Roberts has made some nice runs in the Summit League the last couple of years. Iona is out of nowhere, but The two seeds have been respectable this year, and obviously, I think barring here's what I actually did is I ended up taking the points with a lot of these two seeds because in my bracket I've got the two seeds moving on, but what if they're close games? Oral Roberts was one I keyed in on. I think not for all of them. Like I think Houston might blow them out. Iona's scary. I don't know. But Grand Canyon and Oral Roberts can play. Matt, how do you see the 215 matchups? Sorry, I didn't mean to catch you mid-drink there.
Oh, you're good. My connection's super laggy, by the way. If I don't respond, that would be why. I like what Ty said about how Oral Roberts isn't done. It's not a good matchup for them because Ohio State plays the same. It's a good point because that's what you look for in these upsets is you look for a battle of the paces where the 15 seed wins playing their way. So one of those would be Grand Canyon in Iowa. Grand Canyon will try to slow that down. They have 2 7-footers, so they have size to play with Garza down low. They're not going to stop them, but usually that's another thing you'll see, like mid-majors just run out of size against Power 5 schools. Grand Canyon, not the case. They could keep it close and cover that. I don't think Iowa's going to last too long in this tournament personally, but we'll get into that down the road. I do think they'll be Grand Canyon though.
It's interesting because they're kind of a trendy futures pick, and we'll get into odds later, but we're all in agreement. 2 seeds moving on. Let's go to the 3 seeds. Do things get interesting here? I'm just perusing, and I'm open to thoughts because I've got 2 potential upsets. But what are your guys' initial thoughts on the 3-14 matchups? This would be Texas, West Virginia, Kansas, Arkansas, and then some live mid-majors in Eastern Washington, Colgate, Morehead State, and Abilene Christian.
I kind of agree with you. Pat, you can go back.
Go ahead, Ty.
Oh, that's me. Oh, I was going to say, I agree with you, Dale. As far as the 3-14 matchups, I see 2 potential ones.
Ooh, I'm curious.
However, one that I don't see, I see Kansas beating Eastern Washington. Fun fact, the Big Sky's 0-13 since 2007. I don't think they end that slide. I think Kansas wins. That Colgate-Arkansas game is interesting. Colgate can light up the scoreboard. And back to my fun facts about three-point shooting teams, Colgate is the second best three-point shooting team in this tournament. So, I mean, it's going to be a battle of who can score more points in that one. So that one is one that I see could potentially. I just don't know if it does. And then the other one I think we might agree on is I see Morehead State potentially being a tough matchup for West Virginia. I'm going to bounce right off of Al here quick. That Colgate-Arkansas game, the scoreboard better be able to get triple digits. I would not be surprised if one of these teams cracks 100. I'm not kidding you. These 2 teams play fast, and they can both fill it up. But I liked Abil Christian, don't get me wrong, before the tournament. I thought they played a great conference tournament. However, Texas is hot right now. I'm going to give Texas the edge on that one. However, I totally agree with Al here. Morehead State over West Virginia is the scariest 3-14 matchup that I see here. On my brackets right now, actually I haven't filled any out, but virtual thinking, I'd go all 14s, right? Or sorry, all 14s losing.
Wow, oh my God.
All
14s with the upset. Matt, what do you got?
Ty, who does Texas play?
Abilene Christian. But
Is it Abilene?
Abilene. It's not Apple. I can tell you that.
I just
that was a callback to what, October? Wow.
All right. Yeah, no, I think all the 3 seeds are safe here. One thing, okay, I don't know anything about Eastern Washington, but I do know Kansas doesn't have Jalen Wilson for the first game. I don't know if that was COVID related, like he's not going to clear protocols or if he's hurt otherwise. So that's something to keep in mind. I do think, though, that Colgate's a really good team, and I think that Arkansas is the most vulnerable 3 seed personally. I remember betting on Morehead State back in November against a crappy team, and they didn't cover, so I don't like them anymore. Abilene Christian, I think they're pretty solid too, but I also think Texas is going to the Final Four, so they're going to move on tomorrow or Saturday, whenever they play. Saturday.
So I'll give you my thoughts, and then we'll get kind of a final consensus vote. So my dad is a KU alum, I believe, from the year 1300 BC. No, but he is a KU alum, and he's always told me, I'll never forget this, because they've been, they made the tournament an outstanding amount of decades in a row. But of course, the year that they won it in my, in my most recent memory was when Chalmers won, when they beat Derrick Rose in Memphis. So he's always been worried when Kansas was a 1 seed. So he called me today. He's not as into college hoops anymore, but he was happy that Kansas was a 3 seed. And I agree. And I think all of us are saying that's probably the most obvious 3 seed advancing. But is that too public? Like I always check the people's bracket and it's like 93% Kansas. I'm like, oh shit. But all right, let's go public, Joe. We've got Kansas moving on. West Virginia moving on, I think, is the key. I think they get it on there. But Bobby Huggins, so we'll go consensus. They moved it on. For what it's worth, I picked Abilene Christian. I think this is kind of one of those shocking 3-14 here. So this is kind of cool here. And again, visual audience, you're going to get kind of the bracket with us. So look at this. Number 3 seeds have won 85% of the meetings over number 14 seeds, and they have swept all 4 meetings in at least 3 straight years. Is that over? Because how long have those streaks been going on there? It looks like 2000 to 2004, 2007 to 2009, 2017 to 19. I don't know. As you said, Abilene Christian's a good team there, coming in at 23-4. But Texas is a good squad too. It's if Shaka Smart can get kind of one of those runs like he did with VCU.
Yeah, I think he's growing out his hair until they lose. So I'm looking good.
Okay, good point. So he moves on. All right, let's get our first Corbett's Quarter trendy underdog, because I like Colgate too. I think this is a team that they haven't played anyone, right? They haven't faced an entire top 25 opponent. Arkansas, I mean, good for Eric Musselman. That's a good team that's been underrated, I feel like, the entire year. But I don't know, something about Colgate. They haven't even faced an opponent with a top 75 net rating. Shit, did we stick with all 3 seeds? All right, you think that's the play?
I think so. As much as I want to show a little bit of love to my boy Jay Swap, Colgate along, I think I got to stay with the Razorbacks. I linked up with him in Vegas, so had to make sure I give him a quick shout out.
Of course, yeah, fair enough. Arkansas moving on. So we've taken care of the top 3 seeds. Let's move on to 4. Things getting interesting here. Virginia versus Ohio, Purdue versus North Texas, Oklahoma State Liberty, Florida State UNC Greensboro. I'll start with, I always like kind of fading lottery picks, number 1 overall picks. Kevin Durant losing in round 1 with Texas. I wish I had more of a sample than that. Yeah, Trae Young, exactly. Adam Morrison, but he wasn't really, he was like a dud, right? But he was a top pick with Gonzaga, a highly rated team, and they went down pretty early. But some initial thoughts here. Liberty's a good mid-major team. UNC Greensboro. Florida State, we think, is strong. Virginia, the defending champs. Purdue with Matt Painter. What do you guys think?
As much as I would love to see, I think Oklahoma State will win, but I would love to see them lose. And I kind of like what you said. They're actually a popular pick too. Okay, so everyone heard Lenardi say that they were the most underseeded team in the entire bracket. He had them on the 2 or the 3 line, and they were a 4. So I'm an Illinois fan, neat. But I think a lot of people have them beating Illinois and getting to the Final Four. It's that trendy pick backing the superstar. I'm pretty sure Texas and Durant were a very trendy pick to go deep that year. So they could be the one that slip up. I don't think they will, but they could. I don't know a ton about North Texas. I know they did beat Mississippi Valley State by 50 at one point. But I love this pick. I'm taking it in every bracket. I'll take the points. I'll take the money line. Ohio over Virginia. Yeah. We don't know what maybe it's too obvious because a lot of people are doing it. I think a ton of people are going to be taking all those COVID teams, so Virginia and Kansas and I guess it's just those two to lose. Anyway, Ohio almost took Illinois to overtime in the first weekend of the season. That was no fluke. Illinois didn't play good, but Ohio's a good team. James Preston might have been MAC Player of the Year. I'm not sure. Maybe not. But he was probably first team all MAC. A very good point guard. That's one thing I look for in March. Give me a veteran backcourt who can guide your team deep down the stretch. So that's just something that Ohio has. Again, we don't know who Virginia's going to even have healthy. So keep an eye on the news there, but I like Ohio getting through.
I got a stat for you guys, and then Ty, go ahead. So I pulled this up, and it says 25 of the last 35 years, at least one number 13 seed is beaten a number 4 seed. And 5 of the most recent eight matchups in the past 2 tournaments were decided by single digits. So these should be some great matchups. I agree. I like North Texas. I like Ohio. I really like kind of Virginia went from losing as a 1 seed to a 16 seed as the first team ever to winning the title. And now, what's to say, let's go back to the mean. They lose in the first round. I really like Florida State to move on. I think that's my most confident. And I honestly think Liberty's my most strongest upset, which is interesting. I don't know, but Ty, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't agree with both of you guys anymore, but just backing off of what Crusen said, that Ohio Bobcats team, Jason Preston, very, very, very good point guard there for the Bobcats. I do remember that game that they played Illinois. It was actually on Black Friday. I was driving back from Mall of America. It's pretty big of a ghost town there at that time, but listen to the Xfinity radio on the Big Ten channel. I believe it was channel 193 if you guys are curious.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was nervous for Illinois there as the Bobcats were giving them a scare. And that's when I was like, this team might be actually for real. And they ended up doing very well in the MAC. And obviously we see them here now. But I love that matchup against Virginia. I think Virginia's overrated this year.
Yeah.
It's a very, very, for the most part, weak. And especially in years past, ACC, I think Ohio can easily. I think they easily are the best 13 seed to beat the 4 seed here. But I think they drew a great matchup against the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I don't got much more to add on those 4-13 matchups, but I will say I do think Ohio is the best, got the best chance to beat a 4 seed in these. However, if it does come down to who can make more free throws at the end, Virginia is the second best team in the country at free throws. So just a fun fact out there.
And Ohio's bad at free throws because that's why Illinois beat them. They should have won that game.
That's true.
Now, after Tyler said it was going to be easy for them, so I'm having second thoughts already.
No, I meant to say they got one of just a lick in the chops matchup against the Cavaliers based off of Cavaliers don't put up points. Ohio fills it up. Yes, Cavaliers have a very good defensive in the half court, but I just think Ohio drew a nice matchup here of the Cavs.
We also sold on Florida State here over UNC Greensboro.
Yeah, I'm still on Florida State. I think personally, you'll see me once we get through a little bit more of the bracket, but I think they beat Michigan.
So that one is in. We've got the top 4 seeds advancing in the East. Okay, so what are final thoughts here? Oklahoma State, Liberty. I guess I might be the lone guy here. What are your guys' initial thoughts here? Is Kate Cunningham moving on to the second round?
I'm torn right now. Liberty watched a lot of their games this year. They obviously are in a weaker conference. Oklahoma State obviously has Kate Cunningham. They got
and they're hot.
Exactly, they are hot. This would be the second best chance for a 13 seed in my eyes to take down a 4. Most likely will go Oklahoma State, but I wouldn't be upset if consensus took Liberty. I'm not very sold either way.
Thoughts?
I like Oklahoma State. I just think they're freakishly athletic, and I think they get the job done. I'll be honest, I don't know much about Liberty, so but I've watched a decent amount of Big 12 basketball, and I think Oklahoma State's a very talented team. Besides Cade Cunningham, they got some guys that can play.
I'll give you guys the nod. I assume we're going to lean Oklahoma State. We got to at least go with that 25 out of 35-year trend and maybe get a 13 seed. Maybe we'll get it out of here. North Texas, Purdue, or is Ohio going to be our 13 seed?
Ohio.
Ohio.
I like it. Ohio will keep Purdue moving on. Let's talk 5-12. Creighton versus UCSB, the Gauchos out of California, Santa Barbara. Winthrop, a one-loss team, the 12 seed facing Villanova without their star point guard. Colorado against the surprise team out of the Big East, Georgetown. And in Tennessee, another surprise team, Oregon State out of the Pac-12. You guys getting juicy with the upsets here? Initial thoughts?
I got 2-2 here. I got Creighton beating the Gauchos of the Cal Santa Barbara. I have Winthrop over Villanova. And going down to the other two matchups, I have Georgetown over Colorado. And I also have then I have the other 5 seeds.
Volunteers.
Yeah, Volunteers. Thank you. I'm trying to that's because over the Beavers. It's because it's behind the cameras that we have set up, so I couldn't see it. But yes, I have Tennessee over the Beavers.
Interesting. I'm actually 3-1, 5 seeds. I don't know. I'm just kind of going off. Georgetown had a nice run. Oregon State had a nice run. I love Colorado. Come on. Tennessee can't be losing in the first round, that many times. Rick Barnes. Where was the one? I think Creighton's vulnerable. Villanova's the other one you could talk me into because they're missing out on their point guard. I don't know. Anyone else with the Gauchos with me?
I think Creighton's extremely vulnerable. I don't know much about UCSB, but like you said, Creighton is extremely vulnerable. You don't know what the hell you're going to get with them. I mean, how do you get beat by 30 in your own conference championship to a under 500 team? That's embarrassing. McDermott saying dumb shit, so you don't know what's going on with them. I really like Winthrop, although it seems too obvious. A good, a team that has lost one game against a Power 5 school without their point guard. Seems very obvious. Consider me, sucker for it, I guess. But I really do think Winthrop wins.
Stat here before we get to Al's. Number 5 seeds have won 64% of the meetings with 12 seeds, but 2019 marked the third time in the past 7 tourneys that 12s won 3 of the 4 matchups.
So they're for 5s then.
Yeah. Al, thoughts?
So my thoughts, I do agree as far as I see 12 seed moving on here. I like Winthrop beating Villanova. The one matchup going against the public, who's all on Georgetown, riding that hot train right now. I just think Colorado is a better team than people give them credit for, and I think Georgetown, after a week, maybe they've cooled off a little bit. But back to my fun facts, Colorado's the best free throw shooting team in the tournament that's left out there. And if the game's close, which it very well could, based on the streak that Georgetown is, I think Colorado gets it done because free throws are the key to moving on to the next round.
Right. Georgetown 13-12, but that was because they won 3 or 4 straight in the Big East tournament. All right. So let's get consensus here. Let's say Colorado, Tennessee moving on. And then shall we get a little upset crazy here with Winthrop and UCSB? That look good to you guys? All right, moving on here. 6-11. So obviously we've got the first 4 coming up. I'm going to post this Thursday. So this will be tonight. There are some good matchups. So let's start with that. You got Michigan State, UCLA. The winner of that will play BYU. Syracuse is always dangerous in March. They've got a San Diego State team, which was going to be fantastic last year. But then COVID hit. They're a 6 seed this year. Where else do we have here? USC taking on the winner of Wichita State Drake, and then Texas Tech will face Utah State. How do you guys see this one initially?
So I like let's see. I like Texas Tech over Utah State. Utah State started off the year hot, and then they kind of cooled off a little bit, but Texas Tech, gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Mac McClung.
Well, yeah, Mac McClung, he's just a veteran and he can lead a team.
Chris
And
Beard, they lost in the finals before they lost to Virginia, did they not?
Yeah, the last year went on, exactly. So Chris Beard's an experienced coach now, at least. He's got some wins in March, so I like them over Utah State. I do like Syracuse over San Diego State. Syracuse has kind of been streaky towards the end here, and Jim Boeheim, one of the best coaches of all time. Ty, not to quote him, but he says Syracuse is one of the best teams in March, and I don't know.
Yeah, Ty since day one has been all over Syracuse, and hey, this is setting up to honestly a run. Ty, you like Syracuse?
I do like Syracuse here. Yes, San Diego State, they've won for 2 straight months. However, I do like Syracuse here in this matchup. San Diego State did get some nice wins, I know, early in the year against some quality opponents. So I was looking at earlier. The opponents unfortunately slipped my mind right now. But I do have Syracuse in that one. I think Wichita gets it done against Drake tomorrow. I think that Wichita moves on. I think USC Wichita will be a fantastic matchup. I think that one could go either way. I'm going to have to sit and wait on that matchup depending on who goes through. And then I do think Texas Tech gets by the Aggies of Utah State. However, the Michigan State UCLA game against BYU, I think both teams can beat BYU.
I agree.
I think BYU is the most overrated. You got the best seed in the entire tournament for their resume. Sorry.
I think either Michigan State or UCLA can go on a run. I misspoke. I actually like Drake, but that's a toss-up for me. I actually like UCLA, which is interesting. Matt, I don't know if you've made a bracket, but what have you picked if you have 6-11 here?
Yeah, I have. I think I've actually gone with all the 6s maybe. Okay, so on some of my brackets, I have San Diego State in the Elite 8, but then in a couple, I have them losing to Syracuse. Syracuse, the 2-3 zone plays in March. That's all I want to say about Syracuse. So they could win. I do think San Diego State's a really good team. Good seniors. They could make a run. Let's see. At the top, I really like Utah State, but I also love Tech. So that's a really tough one. Like if you would have put Syracuse or Utah State against BYU in a heartbeat, like I'm taking that match, or I'm taking them. I saw something about Michigan State. The last time Michigan State has been favored in their first round matchup like every year for like 10 straight except for one, and that year that they were a 2-point dog was when they were a 10 seed and they lost. So this is another time where they're a double-digit seed. I don't know. They stink, but it's Tom Izzo and it's Aaron Henry. They could win. I'm not one to wait and see if my team wins the 11th, and then I'm going to pick them. To me, if you don't think they're going to beat the 11, what makes you think they're going to beat the 6 2 days later? So you just roll with it. You either click it and say that matchup's going to beat the 6 regardless, or you roll with the 6. I'm not one to wait and see how they do.
You mentioned how you've got a couple brackets. I'm usually a one bracket guy, but in the age of COVID, it has been so like hit or miss, and you don't know what the hell's going to happen. I ended up making 3 just because most of my first round bets are the same, or first round picks. But then I think Sweet 16, there are some intriguing matchups. All right, so let's get down to it. Let's see if we can get a good stat here. 6-11. The 2019 tournament marked the first time since 2013 that number 6 seeds won at least 3 of the 4 meetings against number 11s in a single tournament. We'll hurry this up here as we've got 10 minutes remaining here. So obviously 11 seeds live dog. We said BYU was vulnerable. Let's take that there. Syracuse, San Diego State. We've got Utah State, Texas Tech. Are we all on USC?
I like USC.
I think that's a scary 6 seed.
Yeah.
We'll move them on. Texas Tech, Utah State, and San Diego State, Syracuse. Am I sensing a Syracuse, Texas Tech lean?
Syracuse, yeah.
Syracuse.
Utah State, though. Are me and Matt going to top you guys off here? Matt's Texas Tech is a Final Four caliber team, but I could totally see a Utah State upset.
Same.
Tough. All right, Ty, I'll randomly pick you to the side.
Yeah, I got the Red Raiders.
All right, let's do it. Okay, and what do we have here? All right, so 8-9s. These are interesting. Oklahoma, Missouri, North Carolina, Wisconsin. We'll just speed things up. Loyola, Chicago, Georgia Tech. Just my initial things. I love LSU. I like Missouri. I like Wisconsin. In this 8-9, I know how good Loyola is, but Georgia Tech scares me because everyone's picking Loyola.
I might be the exact opposite on you on all 4 of them. I like North.
You might need more time.
North Carolina. I like Loyola. I like the Bonnies, and then I like Oklahoma.
Yeah, just say you're 4, and I guess we'll kind of get a consensus after. Al.
I like.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I like Oklahoma, LSU, Georgia Tech, and the Badgers.
None of us are the same. I thought I was going to be the same as Al. I am Oklahoma, LSU, Badgers, and Loyola. I agree. Georgia Tech is a scary team. They play a weird, like a combo zone. They switch it up. It's scary. Good players, but I'm always going to back the Valley and March. I will continue to do that. I'm always backing the Big Ten. 8-9s to me, I look at it and whatever comes to mind, like I pick it and I stick with it in all my brackets. Those are the ones. There was a year when I was most into bracketology, probably like 15 years old. I did like 8, and I had so many different brackets where I was like 16 and 16 in the first round in every single one. It's like, oh, I hit Syracuse in 2 of them and I lost them in the other 2. It was fucking stupid. So I don't do that anymore. Anyway, Missouri is super overrated. They have been all year. That's Greg Weber's sleeper team. Get the fuck out of here. They shoot 25% from the field. Oklahoma will win.
I think Oklahoma's overrated, Al.
I'm not sure if you guys saw, but Davian Harmon just tested positive for COVID, so that Oklahoma's second leading scorer will be out the first 2 games.
All right, so hear me out here. I think so. Georgia Tech is scary. They just won the ACC. Maybe a letdown after they won the ACC when they weren't supposed to. Let's go Loyola. Loyola. This was destined to happen. Illinois Loyola. I think LSU is a Final Four team. I honestly do. I think that's scary. They took Alabama all the way to the wire. I think coming off that loss, Will Wade's a scumbag. He's got everyone paid on his team. They're playing for that cash. The Bonnies, my God, might as well take them to church early. Let's go LSU here. Okay, now the Dalsins will get the say here on the top 9. You guys are overruling me. We'll go Oklahoma. I haven't heard secondary thoughts here on North Carolina, Wisconsin. North Carolina, I think, interesting. They had a good ACC tournament. Wisconsin's always Wisconsin.
I think I was the only one who had North Carolina, so go Wisconsin.
I was the only North Carolina? Okay.
No, I was North Carolina.
I thought you were Badgers, Dylan.
Was I Badgers? Who knows?
I was Badgers.
Let's go. Let's see here a little. Oh my God. Some interesting here. I mean, defense or offense? What's going to win it? I think this is a 1.5 point spread.
Wisconsin's better at offense and defense, so let's go with them.
Yeah, we'll go Wisconsin. Well, this is interesting. 2019 marked the first time since 2001 9 seeds won all 4 meetings with 8 seeds.
That game's going to come down to rebounding. North Carolina, one of the better ones in the country. Wisconsin, not so much.
Yeah,
Wisconsin,
we need a 9 seed in there. Okay.
Everything else.
And lastly, and then maybe we'll do a break and we'll come back and then we'll wrap things up. Oregon, VCU, Florida, Virginia Tech. That's 7-10 in order. UConn, Maryland, and Clemson, Rutgers. I think these are the most interesting matchups of the weekend. Early thoughts. I guess we'll just run through what you guys think, starting with Ty.
I like Oregon. I like Florida. I like Clemson. And I like UConn. So I guess I have all the 7s here. All right, that's what I like right now. I haven't filled out my bracket. That will change. But first instinct, that's what I like, all the 7s.
I got Oregon, Virginia Tech, Clemson, and Maryland.
Matt.
Oregon, Florida, Maryland, Rutgers. Ty doesn't like the Big Ten.
This is interesting. We might be all split. I like VCU. I'm the lone majority or minority there. Come on, what? Fade the public.
Dana Altman 6-0 in his last 6 first-round games. He's made the second weekend in 3 straight years. No one does more with less than Dana Altman. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
And Chris Duarte, obviously a great guard. Shout out Brendan. I like Virginia Tech. I think that's a dangerous team at 10. Rutgers, Clemson, you can honestly just toss me up on. I think I've switched my decision there each day. And then I love UConn for some reason. I feel like Maryland's, yeah. All right, I don't know. What should we go here? Let's get some deciding votes.
UConn was a trendy Final Four pick before the Big East tournament. When people put out their Final Fours before the big tournaments, everyone loves James Bouknight. He is a very good player, but I think they lost a little bit of steam since they did lose in the Big East tournament. I could see them making a little run here. They're a good squad. They have some big dudes down there too.
All right, let's say Clemson. I'm the only VCU, so we'll get Oregon there, obviously. Do we have Virginia Tech? Who are the Florida sayers, the Florida backers here? Some last thoughts, Ty.
Well, I know I like Florida in this one. I thought you were just
look at this. Virginia Tech is 4-0 against the top 25 this year.
Good thing Florida's not in the top 25.
Yep, true. Florida 9 losses in the SEC. 2019 tourney marked the first time since 2010 that number 10 seeds won 3 of the 4 meetings with number 7 seeds. So are we going back to the 7 seeds here?
Hey, Joe, can I put a quick plug in about that Clemson Rutgers game for the?
Of course.
Just want to let you know, out of my research I was doing, the worst free throw shooting team and the worst 3-point shooting team in the field of the tournament here is actually shared by the same team, and that's Rutgers.
Scarlet Knights.
All right. So there it is. The final word, Clemson moving on. You guys good with UConn there? I felt like we were pretty split. Was it just me and Ty there?
Yeah, just you and Ty, Matt and I. Maryland.
You can do it.
Get some Maryland thoughts there. I want to hear the other side. Okay, good thoughts. We'll go UConn.
Matt,
now all you had to just say Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Real quick, PGF, Philly Godfather, God respects Maryland's his matchup in this one, so backing up Philly Godfather.
All right. Maybe we'll have to give it to him then. Ty, thoughts?
Yeah, we can give it to Philly.
Phil. All right, we'll go Maryland and then Virginia Tech, Florida. What do we got here? A little 10-7. We've got a 7. We got a 10. We got a 7. Are we going 10? Va Tech here? A little even out? Yes, let's do it.
I like that. That's my team.
All right, hard part is done. Al Dalsin, Ty Dalsin, Matt Crusen, I'm Dylan Corbett. We'll just run through the rest here as we got a stacked college basketball pod here for you here on Corbett's Corner. We do appreciate your time. First round in the books. Let's pick up where we left off. Okay, let's just start again. Anyone got Gonzaga being upset? Al? No? Okay.
I don't see it happen. I do like Oklahoma, hence my email being Sooners 0202. But
are we all in consensus there, though?
Yeah, go Gonzaga.
I think Illini might be that close second. Otherwise, do we have some Missouri Valley upset trendy folks amongst us?
I do not think that Loyola can score as much as Illinois will be able to. Don't get me wrong, Loyola's defense is very solid. I think Illinois is a deeper team than Loyola. I think you got to go fighting Illini here. It's the only future ticket I'm holding, so I'm riding ILL all March. I'm probably one of the biggest Illini fans right now.
Close second me, actually. I've been bandwagoning probably since the Big Ten tournament final, but I think this is the most NBA-like team. Not even that, but like the Florida Gators-like team where they were deep 1 through 5. You've got Io at point. You've got Kofi down low. You've got a guy off the bench, Gino, or what was his name? Gio?
No.
Matt. Yeah. Belly.
Vaginas Billy.
Yes, of course. But I love this team, and I think they're going to obviously make it through the first weekend.
I don't Illinois is not balanced or deep. They're balanced. I think there's a difference. I think deep is like playing 10 or 11 guys. They only play 8.
Corbello, my guy.
Corbello, yeah, 6 man of the year of the Big Ten. They're very balanced. Everyone knows their role. Guys have bought into their role. Yes, I'm almost at this point. I'm dangerously optimistic.
Watch out for Drexel.
Because I really do think Illinois is the second or third best team in the country. It's a completely different team than the one that lost to Baylor back in December. But I really think it's going to be Gonzaga and Illinois, so we'll see.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. Well, no, you have anything on that one? I have some strong comments on Michigan LSU.
I was going to say, unless Al objects to Loyola, I think Illinois is moving on. And then speaking of Baylor, I think they're a lock to move on to the Sweet 16.
Agreed.
So now let's get back to those Michigan thoughts, Matt.
I have LSU moving on in every single one of my brackets.
Yes.
Michigan's the one who's going to go down early. They're not entirely healthy, so that's not their fault. But I just think they're on downhill climb. I don't necessarily have ill feelings towards Michigan, but with how it's not their fault that they were crowned the solo Big Ten champion, but of the regular season. But we all saw last weekend who the best team in the Big Ten is. So,
and isn't Livers still injured? Is
exactly.
That still the
case? I mean, he's their best player, or second best player. He's out.
Here's a stat, and then we'll get to the Dalsin's thoughts. Number 1 seeds have won 56 of 70 meetings all time, although 8 seeds have won 3 times over the past 6 years. So, again, that's pretty low, but there's at least that chance of an upset there on the first weekend.
Yeah. I'm fine with you guys going LSU down right now. As of right now, I have Florida State taking them down, and
so we view them as weak. Yeah,
I agree. I view them by far as the weakest 1 seed. So I'm cool with you guys going LSU right now.
Al, you want to start us off with the 2 seeds we've got as it stands right now in our consensus bracket here on Corbet's Corner? The Dalsin Twins, Matt Crusen, I'm Dylan Corbett. Houston, Bama, Ohio State, and Iowa. Intriguing. Iowa's got Oregon. Virginia Tech's got Ohio State. Clemson, Houston, and Maryland, Alabama. Clemson, Houston's interesting to me. Virginia Tech, Ohio State's interesting to me. I think that's probably the most interesting to me. Otherwise, I've got more times than not the 2 seeds moving on, but I'm open to hear some upset trendy thoughts.
For me, I think the one that pops potential upset in my mind will be that Oregon-Iowa matchup.
Gonna be tough after VCU wins. Anyway.
Okay. So yeah, for me, I think this matchup that I see.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, go on.
That Iowa team. Don't get me wrong; they can score some points, but they also show signs where they go on slides where they can't score points. So I mean, they're streaky, and like Matt was saying, the previous plug for Oregon in the first round. I forget their coach's name, but their coach knows how to win in March.
Dana.
And I mean, Oregon, correct me if I'm wrong, they won the Pac-12 outright, not the tournament, but
the regular season.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know. I just see Oregon beating or having a chance to beat Iowa. That Maryland-Bama game, for us, that Maryland-Bama game, I think Bama moves on to the next week. I think Houston beats Clemson, and I'm high in Ohio State. So
we all thinking 2 seed. I mean, we were all kind of mixed on the 7-10 games, I felt like. Is there any strong feelings towards, I guess Virginia Tech might be the only one I might argue with, but I also saw Ohio State, and I think the trend might be overall that Big Ten teams are not to be fucked with.
I agree with that statement. However, I know in my brackets, I have gone against a lot of the Big Ten teams here. I think the top 4 Big Ten teams are not to be messed with.
Okay.
I think in the middle tier there with like the Marylands, the Rutgers, and whatnot. Right. I guess I'd mess around with them a little bit, but I mean, the other 4, if I see them on a one-on-one matchup on a asphalt park
I ain't gonna mess around with them. So, long story short, I would go Ohio State over Virginia Tech. I am pretty high on Iowa. I know that Alan Crusen hasn't had a chance to talk yet on his, but I know he's a Ducks guy, I believe. I got all twos.
Should we, Matt, is he correct? Should we go this is our 7-2 upset?
I have it, but no, we don't need to. We don't need to jinx my brackets. So
Here's
let's
here's
roll
a
with all the twos.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like we all think these are going to be close games, but I think the better team will prevail. Here's a seed fact. I always find these interesting. Number 7 seeds have won 7 of 12 meetings with number 2s the past 5 tourneys. What? Even though the overall trend is that they're 57-25 since March Madness began. So recently the 7s have been upsetting the 2s, but there are some strong 2s this year. Let's go Iowa, Ohio State, Houston, and Alabama. All right, let's get to some interesting ones here. First, let's knock this one out. It's our upset matchup. We don't really know much about either team. I like the Gauchos. Here's a good stat. 12 seeds are 9-3 against 13 seeds. Is that good enough for you guys to back the Gauchos with me?
I actually prefer the Bobcats over the Gauchos.
How about that?
I think, like you just said, though, the stats do speak for themselves. So then I think we got to go Gauchos, but I think Ohio's.
Yeah, we can come back to that one. Winthrop, Purdue is another one that's 12-4. We'll stay with that. Colorado, Florida State, Tennessee, Oklahoma State. So let's knock these two out. Any Winthrop, Purdue thoughts? Or we got Purdue moving on. Winthrop one and done.
Purdue.
Yes. UCSB. Any other Ohio's? Matt, you might be the deciding vote.
I like Ohio.
Wow, let's go.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Okay, down here, Colorado, FSU is going to be great. Tennessee, Oklahoma State's going to be fantastic too. So we chose LSU to upset Michigan, and I have got an upset here. I think if it's not LSU in the Elite Eight, I've got Colorado. What are your 3 thoughts?
I'm not even sure that Colorado will get past the first round.
Oh, that's right.
So let's just pump the brakes a little bit there, please. I got Florida State over Colorado in this one.
That's your guy. That's your boy, Leonard Hamilton.
I love Leonard Hamilton. I personally think Florida State's the best team out of the ACC. And I think Colorado, after going down against Oregon State, I think they're hanging their heads right now, sulking a little bit. I think Florida State having a little bit more time to recoup. I think that they're going to be able to take the offs.
Florida State for you two also?
I was thinking Florida State personally.
Fair enough. I like Tennessee here because I think Oklahoma State's vulnerable, but we've got the floor.
I'm going to second Dylan. I like Tennessee in this one too. Tennessee hasn't looked great in the past month or so, but there was a time when it was Gonzaga and Baylor up there where people were thinking Tennessee could maybe give them a run, and I like Tennessee in this one.
Going off of here, I don't know.
You're a Cade guy. That's your guy.
I do like Cade. However, I know Derek's nephew, Guy Jeter. He's a big Tennessee guy. He is just all over the Vols. The Vols were very, very high early on in the season. They've obviously underperformed, like Dalsin said. But I am actually going to give this one to Tennessee. Just because Oklahoma State, like you said, number 1 overall pick, most likely, Kate Cunningham. The Flames are not to be someone to sleep on. Liberty, they're going to give a good matchup against the Pokes. So let's go. Personally, I think the Vols.
You rolling with that too, Matt?
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yes, bingo. All right, we'll just roll through this next one quickly here. The last thing, USC, Kansas, it's a 6-3 matchup. Likewise, Texas Tech, Arkansas. And then we got a pair of 11-3s. How about that? Potentially Michigan State, UCLA, Texas. And then Syracuse, West Virginia. I think the 11 seed here on the east side, either Michigan State, in my case, UCLA is going to move on here. That's just my opinion. Geez, I really don't have any other stronger thoughts other than that, because I like Kansas, but I also like USC. I could see this being Colgate, Utah State, so I'll let the floor be open to you guys there, and then toss it up. That's going to be a great game between Syracuse and West Virginia, so the floor is whoever wants to speak here.
So I give it to Matt.
I'm going Syracuse, Texas, Kansas, and Texas Tech.
I
Al?
have the
Or Ty, sorry.
I have the exact same four as Matt.
Okay, Al.
I got Texas Tech, USC, Texas, and West Virginia.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, that should be good for Texas Tech. I'm with that there. Let's see here, and then I lost count. Did we have where were some other majorities here? Syracuse, West Virginia, Texas. So I was Texas split. I can't remember.
All three of us but you had Texas.
All
I
right,
think-
so Texas. You guys more Qs?
Matt and I had Q's. Al had West.
I'd go
Virginia.
Qs.
got
Used by majority.
There we go. And then the last one here, USC Kansas. Was USC loan for Al? I guess I'd go Kansas too. Okay, sorry, Al, tough. Gonzaga over Ohio, Doy, the Bobcats, anyone? No?
No, I'm not going to argue the Cats.
Okay, some good matchups here. Syracuse, Houston. Let's go down to Syracuse, Houston. I think look, if Houston's going to lose, it's going to be this game, but I think they're probably one of the top 5 teams in the country. I know it's shit. I mean, there's so many good teams. Iowa, they're probably the 5th, but I like Houston a lot this year. Maybe this is the one that's Q slips up.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Dale, there on the Houston game. Obviously a big Q fan myself, but I think Houston is just very, very talented. Houston is not a great rebounding team, and I think that is going to help Houston here in this one. I personally think Houston takes down the Orange.
Houston for you too?
Houston for me also, yep.
Money.
Yeah,
All right, Illini for everyone. Matt, you have the floor.
Yeah, of course. They're winning.
Yes, Ron, tell that. Is Rick Barnes going to maybe draw something up?
That'd be fine with me, though. I have a future on Tennessee, so I wouldn't hate if they made a run.
Yeah, so I did take futures on Illinois and Iowa, actually. I just think it's going to be destined for a Big Ten champion just because it was the best league. All right, so we've got a 1-2 matchup there, Illinois, Houston. Are we destined for that? And the other two that we have potentially here, Baylor over Purdue, unanimous?
Yep, I like Baylor.
Yeah, I think Baylor is legit.
That's your lethal from beyond the arc.
Texas Tech, Ohio State. I think I like Ohio State here too.
I like Ohio State.
I'm high on Ohio State. Dwayne Washington is raw.
That dude can fill up a bucket. Big Ten all the way. Okay, here are some great matchups. Let's go Kansas, Iowa. Haven't these two already faced each other? Maybe I'm wrong on that.
No, I think Kansas.
I was wrong on that. I was thinking
played in
Gonzaga
Iowa
and the three of
Gonzaga.
them.
I don't think they have,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
You guys lean in. I might have to go with my. Shit. I don't know. Kansas, Iowa. This is a toss up for me. You guys have thoughts?
Yeah, I can't decide which school I hate more. No, truly. I mean, I don't like Bill Self because he left Illinois. I don't like Iowa because it's Iowa. I mean, that is one. Okay, so everyone, I've lived in Illinois and Minnesota. Both states absolutely hate Iowa, so they got those two things going for. I really think Iowa's going to lose to Oregon, so I don't think they'll be here. I gotta go Kansas.
We got to go with Randy Corbett here, alum, Kansas.
Shout out Randy.
Yes. Okay.
I guess I'd be the only Iowa guy. Fran McCaffrey's got a nice head of lettuce.
Hair plugs. Come on. All right. So we got a 1-2 Baylor, Ohio State, 1-2 Illinois, Houston, 1-2. Let's get a little 1-3 in there. Gonzaga, Kansas, right? Gonzaga would be undefeated moving on. I said before, I think LSU is a Final Four team, but Leonard Hamilton is Ty's boy. I like LSU. What do you guys have?
either. I have this is my one like split of my, let's say I have 4 brackets. 2 of them I have LSU winning this one. 2 of them I have Florida State.
I got the Seminoles in my one. I did.
I got the Seminoles.
Let's see if the stack can get us one here. Number 4 seeds are just 4 and 5 versus 8 seeds, but have won the past 2. That's interesting. I guess we'll go with Leonard Hamilton, fresh off that contract. He's getting paid. Texas, Bama. You got hook 'em horns, according to Al. Hook 'em, baby. All right, Shaka Smart, fresh head of lettuce. He's moving on. Elite 8. Let's do it. I like the Illini. Are we bandwagoning it all the way to the Final Four?
I think so.
Yes, love it. Is Baylor going to rematch them there, or is it going to be the Big Ten championship rematch?
Al?
I got Ohio State going, but Baylor, like I was saying, is lethal.
I've split them like Matt in multiple brackets.
This last weekend, Matt Sargent got me hooked on Ohio State. Shout out Matt Sargent. I like Ohio State.
Sargy. Ohio State with the upset. Oh, let's go Big Ten. I love it. All right, Florida State, Texas. This is your guys' side of the bracket here. I'm listening at this point.
I like Texas in this one. Unfortunately, I can't keep riding Hamilton here. I'm going to go with Texas.
Al, Matt?
I have Texas in my Final Four.
I think Texas is just going to shock Florida State there.
Gonzaga, Kansas. Are we going to see an undefeated national champion in our lifetime? It could have been Kentucky. Wasn't it Wisconsin that year eventually? I can't remember. Did they lose in the Final Four or
Wisconsin beat them in the Final Four?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does Kansas beat Gonzaga here?
I don't know. Well, no, but
you don't like Kansas, right?
To answer your question, if we see an undefeated champ in our lifetime, I don't know if we will, because we're not going to see one this year.
Okay.
Oh.
Do we go with the Zags?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Galen Suggs, Minneapolis' own.
Yeah.
We got to throw them in there. This is a good mix. Here we go. 1, 3, 2, 1. So we got Gonzaga, Texas, Ohio State, Illinois. How many matchups will that be? Ohio State, Illinois now?
4. I would rather play Baylor a second time than
Right.
Ohio State a 4th time.
After losing the first, yeah. I got Gonzaga rolling Texas. I don't know. Yeah, I got Abilene Christian, remember, by the way, in the first round. So we got Gonzaga moving on here. Does that go with the Dalsins?
That's good with us.
XOXO, Suggs and Kispert. Still moving on.
Yeah. Has Gonzaga faced the Illini? No. That's got to be it, right? Illini moving on.
Yeah.
Let's pick our champion here, and we'll get us out of here and watch college hoops all weekend.
Gonzaga.
Really? Dalsins.
Yeah, I got Gonzaga.
I'm sorry, fellas. I'm going to have to make this one 2-1. I got the Illini.
I have 3 brackets. I have Gonzaga winning 1. I have Iowa winning 1. I have the Illini winning 1. I fucking love the Illini, baby. Let's go. And I hope it's high scoring. Let's get it a little 90 to 85, baby. All right. Sounds good. A little Corbet's Corner here. We have picked our champion. Let's enjoy college hoops all weekend. March Madness. It's going to be fun. Appreciate Alan, Ty Dalsin's time, Matt Crusen. I'm Dylan Corbett. Appreciate you, the listeners' time as always. We will enjoy the sports this weekend, and we'll see how our bracket made out when we talk to you next week.